You can go through therapy, you can go through all the programs and workshops and schooling, and you get celebrated for everything but motherhood. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I didn't got all these certificates, I done went through trainings, I did everything. Somebody got to celebrate me for motherhood because I just created something. Yes. And there's no book that tells you like, you are finna lose yourself. Mm-hmm. You are really finna not know who that is in the mirror, right? So I will go into different communities and try to seek that. Like, okay, well, I don't need help. You know, I don't need help financially. I don't need food. I want to go around and laugh and celebrate the milestones that I'm doing. I want to go around and just be me. I don't want to go to the nightclubs, right?
Welcome back to Chocolate Espresso Podcast. I'm your host, Thomas New Era with Flood Your Fancy. I ain't too picky. I got my co-host over here.
What up? King Dez. Welcome.
What we doing?
Well, we're interviewing. Actually, we're doing a little special. It's a double interview. That's right. We're here with two nonprofit entities, and we're going to get into who they are and what they're doing.
Now, you know what I always say. I can't introduce them any better than they can introduce themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and let them do it. I'm going to pass it along.
Okay, I'm Rakita. I'm the founder and executive director of Thrive Resource Hub. We are a nonprofit working in the Twin Cities area, specifically Ramsey County, serving the moms in Ramsey County. Yeah. That's about me.
Next one.
I am Elijah Jackson. I am the founder of Mommy Co. And Mommy Co. is a social club for moms to help rediscover their social life, rebrand villages along with the kids.
Nice. Well, first off, pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming and joining us on this fine evening. You want to start it off with a question?
Well, I'm always starting off with questions. Man. I mean, I got questions. Don't get me wrong.
I got questions.
You know, but I'm going to let you do it.
Right.
Come on.
Well, to start off general, right? So you kind of just said, you know, we got Thrive here. We got Mommy Co. here. And you are a beautiful woman of color. First, if you can tell me anything, tell me what like your ideal audience is and what would you like the outcome? What do you want to see them after your services? We can start with you, Thrive.
Okay. So specifically my target audience is working class single moms. So moms who earn too much to qualify for traditional assistance. They've been rejected from the county for whatever reason, exceeding poverty lines, but still not having enough to survive. So that's my target audience, that overlooked population. What I want for them to receive after receiving our services isn't just like a one-time saving, right? Like, oh, you paid my rent for this month. I want more, so that's kind of where I partnered with Mommy Co. for the social club aspect of it, giving them that community and more resources to support them along their
right. So it's more important to like actually come out of here feeling seen, feeling helped, but also feeling supported.
Right. And if there's other areas in which they're struggling besides financially, being able to support them in that as well.
Right. What about you?
Nice. So we focus on the social piece of it, which is a part of self-love and self-care for mothers. So I would say when you come into it is membership based. It is a membership based service. And when you come into our community, it's about being a part of a movement, you know, feeling heard, being felt, rebuilding sisterhood. After our services, it's just a breath of fresh air, right? Being able to say, hey, I'm doing something for me. Hey, I can show up and be myself outside of being the title of a mom, because that's all we seem to be every day. So coming to our community is really just showing up as who you are, whatever season you are in motherhood. And you're like, I'm tired of doing it by myself. Motherhood is a very transition that you become isolated, and I feel like you really lose that self-identity. So we want to bring you back to the front face and really pour and nurture into you. So then that goes into the households.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, boom. There you go. I like that answer. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
What kind of things brings your community together inside your nonprofit?
Yeah, so actually I am for profit. We are running as an LLC because it is membership based. So it is like a social club. So the same way you have your gym membership, the same way you have your Netflix, your Pandora subscription, you got to subscribe to something that's pouring into you. So that's how we make it. Like, how invested are you to be better, to better yourself? How invested are you to say, I want to build my own community with sisters? You know, I want to get help, really, and I want to be not so socially awkward. After COVID, everyone is socially awkward, even from the kids. So we have kid events, right? And it's like, if I see my mom socializing with this woman, I'm gonna socialize with the kids. And now it's not so awkward because, hey, we can go play together. Hey, my mom, she can have her mom talk over here, but now we on the game playing together because we're cousins, right? So really just bringing that village back and saying, hey, we can help raise each other's kids and not just those of your kids.
Right. I like that. I like that, especially in culturally, you know, we've always had these in-family villages, right? You know, cousin looks after cousin, auntie looks after the kids, uncle helps out here. And when that stuff is healthy and supportive, it gives so much to the identity, emotional stability, a sense of family and a connection. And so you're like, look, if you're down without a wrath, you know, you can join us and you can get that support because our intention is to give that support, right?
Intentionally.
For you all, if I could say, what is a story where, you know, you've helped someone out and you felt like it helped you or you felt good to provide that service? Like when it was rewarding, it fed your soul to do what you feel like you've been called to do. We can start with you, Mommy Co.
I would say each event, we did a bonfire actually recently, and Rakita, she came, and just to see women of our own kind really sit and socialize. They're not looking at what you got on. They're not looking at what your makeup and your hair look like. They're not looking at what car you pulled up in. We here, right? We know you were just drowning and we're able to be like, sister, I was just there yesterday.
Right.
So I would say each event is very intentional. I don't see people when they're on their phones, they catching content. They're not, oh, well, you sit over there. Literally, when you see us in our Mommy Co gear, each event, they like, hey, girl, hey, sister girl. I could tell you this story, and this just happened at the pumpkin patch. A little one of my friend's son, he been around for some years now, and he's seen one of our new moms that got a new Mommy Co shirt that was at your home buying class.
Okay.
I don't want to say her name.
Oh, take it out.
Sorry. And she's overwhelmed walking up to the event. She got her stroller. There's a lot of people out. And the little boy see her with her shirt on. He like, how you know Elijah? How you know Mommy Co? You know what? You with us. Come on. They over here. And just to see the kids draw to that to say, okay, she look lost over there. She must be looking for who my mama and them is with.
The safe
right?
space.
You know, she's looking for, I can guide you to where they at. And just saying, like, kids are socially awkward now. So to see them be like,
engaged.
I know her. Yep. I'm engaged with them. It just brings back family, and it brings back the definition of like, y'all don't have to be blood to be family. You can recreate that. You know, we spend so much time about what our family didn't do. And it's like, what are we going to do now to go move forward? So I would say that's always when the kids draw to me and draw to the movement, and they're always like, Mom, when the next Mom Friends event? Like, they like, you going.
Like, I'm looking forward
you know,
to
like, how my mom can become a Mommy Co mama. You know, like, it's the kids. They are our future. So I think they feel refreshed when they mamas come out.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Thrive?
Okay. I would say the first mom that I was able to provide assistance for. I remember her being in my inbox like, I got 2 kids, I'm behind 1164, and me going to my sponsor like, look, telling her story, passing it on, and she was like, oh, okay, I approve it. And I just remember like being so emotionally overwhelmed by that, being able to pass that on and pay it forward to that mom was really special to me.
Right.
So.
Right. Like literally being in the position to help.
Yeah.
Right. Do you feel like more people in your positions, like if they got the support that they needed, that they would be willing to help more people? Because sometimes there's always that fear, like, you know, people abuse power sometimes, right? But do you feel like as y'all bring more people together, you really feel like it can grow? Do you really see that reflected in both of the things that y'all are doing?
Absolutely. I would say even moms that I didn't had around for a year or so, they gonna go back and help. You know, like it was last year we were at a Christmas party and I didn't even know I was out getting the food and stuff, and a mom was sharing with 2 other moms that her kids wasn't gonna have Christmas this year. And literally by the time that mama made it home, she had 2 bags from garbage bags full of Christmas stuff. And nobody discussed it. It was literally like, I know you would have did it for us, so we knew that it was our turn to help somebody else that was able to. So I see it a lot. I see it a lot of them just wanting to help when they able to. And I think that's our mission too. Like, sometimes you're not gonna be able to, but when you do, you know where to come back to.
Right, right. And for you at Thrive, do you feel like it's like a similar thing? Like the more people you get involved, the more it feels like it feeds itself.
Absolutely.
You don't have to, you know, because when you first start, right, like with any type of meeting you're hosting, you know, you gotta get the strangers on board, let them know what your mission is. But then after that happens, do you feel like?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like what you said. People just want to pay it forward. So it's like kind of how I got started. I was like, I need to pay this forward to someone else. Someone was able to help me. I want to help someone else. And a lot of the moms that I have been able to help, even if it's them donating $20 back into Thrive, they're willing to do that because they know that that $20 can help somebody in some capacity. So people volunteer all the time, like, okay, can I help you with your events? Can I help you, you know, organize them if you need help with that? So yeah, they want to pay it forward in some capacity, and I'm thankful.
You know, I used to work at this nonprofit for years, and we did a lot of community-based outreach with children, corporations, just trying to promote more healthy practices when it comes to like bicycling and infrastructure going to be more dedicated. And there was definitely times where we fell short on stuff. Like sometimes we couldn't just get a grant. Sometimes it was like, man, you know, maybe we like, why are we failing to get more people to come in this class? Or like, you know, or is it us? Is it, you know, people aren't comfortable with the situation? You know, I feel like when it comes to companies, especially with nonprofits, there's always that something that, you know, you're falling short that you really know would help. You know, do you have anything like that right now for you?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many times where it's like, is this just in vain? Like, you know, what's the point of me even doing this if it's not going to have a humongous crowd? But I've just learned to kind of condition myself to say, even if it's just one mom who gets something out of it, then it's worth doing. So it's not always about the masses or the numbers, but the impact that you're having on someone's life. So understanding that. But yeah, always having those hiccups, and especially with like funding and right, like there's a lot of people, I get inquiries from around the world, people inquiring about services and receiving financial help. And it's like, I wish I could help everyone, but unfortunately I'm not able to. Hopefully one day I can get to a position where I'm able to help
globally,
more.
like across the world. Like that's crazy to even think about. Like, hey, we're gonna go find you in Minnesota and be like, I need help. Like, that's quite the
No, seriously,
outcry.
South Africa. Like people from South Africa will write me, I have kids, I need clothes, and all sorts of kind of things. And it's like, okay, if I open up this, like I'll be sending things for the rest of my life every day, you know, because word of mouth travels too. So they'll tell their friends, and they'll be like, oh, this lady in America helped me.
Right.
That's good.
That's real
good.
though. That is real. Do you have anything like that?
I will say getting the women to believe in the buy-in is probably the most hassle thing of it, because I really like to push, if everybody do a little bit, nobody has to do a lot. So really getting them to believe in that buy-in, that it is a community and we're not here just to receive. We are here to build as well. So I would say that's probably the biggest struggle, is having moms buy in to the community.
Getting everybody on board with it.
Where's like a spot for you where you feel like you could really expand more in the next year?
Maybe just brand awareness, like bringing the awareness to the community as a need, not as something that you're just doing on your free time. but as a routine base. Like, hey, I'm going to this workshop this many days. I'm going to refill my cup. Like, and that's what we really like our events to look like. Like, hey, no, on Saturday, this is me. I'm going to do this no matter what's going on consistently. So, really working on consistency with the moms, because life happens, right? It's always something that can happen, something that can come up, but getting yourself on that routine and that schedule to say, this day I'm doing this for me, and not making no excuses. If them kids, you go find a different ride, find you a ride. I'm going to do this, and not letting kids alter it, because they alter a lot. And it's like, sometimes you gotta say no to them kids, even though they're gonna be sad.
Right, even though they're gonna give you them puppy dog eyes, and it's your face on their face giving you the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, and setting those boundaries to be stern and say like, no, Mom, I got a schedule. Work. I'm not working later. I'm going, to do something for me. That is the biggest challenge.
Right, and then having the support system once you get there makes it worth it, right? Because you don't want to go get out of your way. You battled your own kid, but you love. You're already doing this on your own, and then you show up there and people got stank attitudes. It's like, why would I
that's
come to
another
that?
piece. I think we do really, really good at our events to say, no matter if it's your first time or your third time, you're gonna feel like you've been there, like at the backyard barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you come in there, everybody gonna love on you. It's gonna be like, girl, I know you was probably just crying in the car, but you here now. So I think we do very good, at that culture of being welcoming. And
because I was just talking to my sister earlier, and she was like, oh, I ran into someone at the store, and they were like, oh, I saw you at the Mommy Co event, and then they just kind of kicked it off from there. So again, it's the community.
Yeah,
it is.
It's the community.
Right. Okay, I like that. I like that. So we're gonna dig a little deeper here. You are both are now in what is called that entrepreneurial stage of your life. A lot of people are too afraid to ever touch it. A lot of people think twice. A lot of people are going to that 9-to-5 that they hate with their kid, and they're like, nah, that's too risky. I need stability, For the younger you, or for another young lady up looking to you, forget that. For anybody in our culture who wants to embark on their dreams and support people and help people, what would you tell them?
Do it fearlessly. I will say, do it fearlessly.
Just go on.
Just do it. I feel like when it comes to being an entrepreneur, you got to talk to that younger self, right? Because a lot of us did a lot of stuff as kids and didn't think of the consequences. I know I didn't jump off a garage, not knowing, but I knew I was gonna figure it out. It's the same thing as adults. Talk to that inner child and become fearless. If it's something that you're passionate about, make noise about it.
Right.
And that's what I try to remind myself every day.
Nice. Thrive?
Yeah. For me, I always say you were given your dreams for a reason. So if it's in you where you're like, I have to do this, you're always uncomfortable in every work situation that you have, just go after your dreams. I personally don't want to live a life of what ifs. So as soon as someone tells me their dreams and aspirations, I encourage them to chase them. So for those new entrepreneurs, just chase those dreams. And if you are afraid to do it, still do it.
They know it's
good.
Oh, my bad. I ain't cut you off.
No, I was gonna say that's good. I love that.
I feel like, it's like when you're in your mid 30s and younger, take the risk. Take the risk. Like you got at the minimum 20 years to pay that debt back. Like you got time. Like you really do. You really
can
do.
fix it.
And like you don't hear a lot of like millionaires who really did take that leap of faith and be like, nah, man, I failed. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I tried and I failed, but I kept trying. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was like 50, 40, had a family. Like that's too big of a risk for a lot of people to take because you got other stuff to deal with. You got, it's like, I can't take that risk. You really like some do. Some people make it, but most people, they take that leap younger. You know, you got to have that drive, and that drive is so hard. You know, like that hustle culture is new.
Yeah,
It's a different kind of hustle culture now, and finding a solution is where the profit is. Right? You did it.
Solving a problem.
You guys are doing it.
Right? Solving a problem. That's what they said is the most profitable thing. Every millionaire, billionaire, whatever, they're like, solve an issue. They'll pay you to solve an issue. You can do what you want. You can have a hobby. You can paint all day, and nothing against painters. But you know, when people need something, they're gonna need it. Whether you're there or somebody else is, as long as somebody's answering that, they'll pay for that. And that's when you get into services, right? You're providing services to help people, and y'all are providing services that help on all levels, physically, financially, but then emotionally, mental stability wise, like especially in society can be very testing on that nowadays on mental health. It's like everybody wants it, but then also everybody takes 3 steps against it, you know? So to actually be there and actually like we're holding each other accountable. We're protecting each other and inviting them into a safe space to grow and further themselves. I feel like everybody needs that environment, but since we all don't have it, thank y'all for doing it. So I got to give y'all a shout out for that for sure. Yes, if I may go into another question for you all here. Y'all have told us about, you know, what you would tell the younger you. What, if you wouldn't mind, inspired you to be an entrepreneur? Like, what triggered you and you were like, I've got to do something about that? Like, was it just seeing like something happen and you're like, oh, I already knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur? Or was it like you seen someone do it or do part of it and then it inspired you? Like, what, for each of you, what does that look like?
I always been bossy.
So much confidence.
Yeah,
Yes.
I always been like wanting to master whatever I was gonna do. And really through my own journey, honestly, I became a mom overnight. And you can go through therapy, you can go through all the programs and workshops and schooling, and you get celebrated for everything but motherhood. So I'm like, I didn't get all these certificates, I done went through trainings, I done did everything. Somebody got to celebrate me for motherhood because I just created something. Yes. And there's no book that tells you like you are finna lose yourself. You are really finna not know who that is in the mirror, right? So I will go into different communities and try to seek that. Like, okay, well, I don't need help. You know, I don't need help financially. I don't need food. I want to go around and laugh and celebrate the milestones that I'm doing. I want to go around and just be me. I don't want to go to the nightclubs, right? And therapy is just when it's scheduled. Who can I really build these day-to-day relationships with and I can phone somebody when I'm really having a hard time?
Right.
Where can I go and really build ongoing, not just transactional to say, hey, you want this gift card? Come do this class. Right. No, I'm doing all of that. I'm thriving in motherhood. Where's the celebration for that? Right? Where is the, come on, let's get dressed, let's get cute, and let's go out. Let's do that together.
Have a life.
Yeah, right. I want to still have a life. I still want to be me and not just them kids' mama.
Right.
Right. So
I feel that.
That was the need for it. It was a need for socializing. It was a need for everybody need a good laugh. If you're not laughing in life, something is going on.
Right.
You know, you should be able to go and, you know, just feel free.
Right. I feel that. That one hits personally.
Some of the toughest times in human history, people still found a way to laugh.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Still
it's a coping
crack jokes.
mechanism, you know.
They say it's the medicine. They say it's medicine. Like it actually heals you to laugh. You know, what about you?
Yeah, my first day at Target at 17, I said yeah.
She said, employment W-2 is not for me.
She said, working at Target ain't the target of my life.
Yeah, this isn't gonna work out. So I just always knew, and kind of like you, I've always been a leader. I actually went to school for leadership, so organizational leadership, and they teach you there that like there's born leaders and then there's built leaders that are made over time. But I definitely think we're both born leaders. Even when I don't find myself in leadership positions, somehow I'm being promoted when I tell them I'm
or
not interested.
Or treated like a leader.
Treated like a leader when you're trying to just hide in the background. I find myself doing that all the time. Like I'm trying to just stay low key and then still being put in a leadership position. And then there's situational leadership as well. So yeah, I just knew from day one at my job that I would not be able to do that until I'm 60, 65, whatever the retirement age is. I don't even know because I don't plan on following that. I'm going to be done working by 45.
I'll be paying my own retirement.
Yeah.
You know,
I will be done working by 45. So
I do want to add, let that 9 to 5 build your business.
yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I think those are amazing answers. I can't even lie. Those are great answers. So I want to go a little sideways, right, and get into your personal. Social media. Social media can be a tool or your own shovel to dig your own hole, and that can happen personal. That can happen in business. When y'all get on social media and you see these financial gurus and these people rolling around in Lamborghinis, and then there's this girl or guy who's always on a yacht, never working but still getting money, don't know how to do it. Do you feel like that motivates you, or you're just like, get off my phone, I don't want to look at none of y'all no more, I might deactivate this account? Like, how does that feel? And like, when you know like how hard it is, like y'all have already put blood and sweat into this game and y'all still got so much more to do, and you're just like seeing that, what does that tell you as an entrepreneur? Like, how do you feel about that?
That anybody got a camera?
For me, I just scroll past it because I'm like, me sitting here watching your videos is just how you're living your lifestyle, right? Like, I'm sitting here actually having to go out and grind for it. You're hitting here getting these views. Me, I'm not even following your content, so it's not motivational for me. Well, I mean, in some ways it is. It's motivational to know that there's multiple ways that you can make money without having to do too much. But other than that, I don't.
Right.
I think it motivated me to know that if you're passionate about it, you shouldn't have to work it shouldn't be
as strenuous.
Like it shouldn't be that hard, you know, like, and I think that's what social media kind of gave me, that mind of pivot to be like, you create whatever it is that you want and just make society believe it's a need.
Right. Just go with it. Just go with it.
Because that's really what it is. Like, when you create something, it's just telling people a million times, and then eventually they're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, we on board. So,
and sorry to cut you off, but to add
okay.
on to that, I definitely feel like there's like a part of that plays, because I feel like that comes in, and I'm starting to notice it now myself. Now when I'm looking for something and I want to do something, if there's a weekend or there's something coming up in the next month, the person who's advertising the most is the people, or they're like shouting about the most, this party here, this thing here, this event here. Then it's like, oh, I can do that. But you only see them because you hear them, right?
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
It's tough because I feel like a lot of people often forget, like, social media could be so fake.
It can,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, people don't realize you can rent out like a cutout part of a plane and shoot all kinds of content in that. Same thing with yachts. Like, AI is real too. That's my next question. But you know, it's like,
right. And then the person gets arrested on like money laundering charges.
Yeah,
you're like, oh.
It's crazy because people like forgot, like, ever since Instagram came out, like, depression has gone up.
Yeah.
Because we're comparing ourselves to things that are not real. The people that you're seeing driving those Lamborghinis, like you said, they're rented. So it's like you're comparing yourself to a standard that they can't even uphold themselves. So...
But who knows? I mean, it's a hustle thing. I mean, rent that Lambo, limp that Ferrari, and maybe you get enough subscribers. You start making money. You can buy a real one.
It makes me think of, I don't know if y'all remember, but I think y'all remember MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
And that was going on for so long, and then it like came out once it stopped that like half of them was, like a third of them was fake. And then like they was renting out their friend's mansion, or their label had a mansion where they host events and parties, and they rented it from them. Like,
I believe that.
Like, that's crazy.
If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, look at MTV's Pimp My Ride.
The cars are
all the vehicle, all those, like, if they really did do all those modifications to the car, once they were done with the episode, they removed all the modifications.
Why?
Yep.
Why?
Because they needed it for the next car. What you mean? Like you, and then you sitting there like her, with the look on your face, like, bruh, you just pimped my ride. You took it back.
I can't agree with that.
Pimped and repoed my ride in the same day.
That's real.
I'd be hot. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, it was.
And I didn't did TV before, so I know the behind the scenes of like editing is real. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Editing is real because when I did the Lifetime and when I actually seen it, I was like, that's not.
It was so good though.
It was good, but it was like.
She was like, I remember being where I was supposed to be. That's a little different. You know, that's
editing is real.
That's reality, right? You know, they twist it.
But that's reality. Let's talk about reality, man. This is my favorite part. This is my favorite question of all time, man. Let's talk about AI. Now, I'm going to switch it up a little bit because the question for AI doesn't necessarily fit what y'all do.
Right.
But I am curious to know. If artificial intelligence can assist you in your day-to-day with your business, where do you think it would best suit you?
Marketing.
She's like, marketing.
I've already been thinking about it.
I might answer no. I ain't gotta think about it.
They already advertising it everywhere. Might as well.
Let me join this bandwagon.
Oh my goodness. Like, yes, it just knows what to say, when to say it. So I would say marketing.
GPT a little good. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yep, marketing.
Marketing for sure.
100%.
Anything you think it can help you?
Marketing is just such a monster. You know, like having to keep up with it consistently is a full-time job.
Yeah.
On top of everything else, especially if you are an entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur, there's many hats that you're wearing. Adding marketing on top of that is like, oh, it's just another task.
Analytics and statistic analyzation on a math level, just doing the basic math to knowing who you've touched and who you've reached and how you profit is already a mountain. And then trying to be like, calculate this to make it work even better later, crazy.
Right.
Please put that on AI.
What content is working, what content's not working, what reaches people, what is capturing their interest, you know, all of that.
It's all crazy. I want to go off of it further. Are you concerned about the new waves of people that are now using AI to start their entrepreneurial journey and like it's just telling them this is what's selling right now and I'm doing that? Do you feel like you end up comparing yourselves or you're just like they're just over there, I'm over here minding my business looking away?
I think that AI is a great tool to use. I think that it's scary to think that people are so reliant on it and that it kind of dumbs us down because it's like, oh, well, you know, AI could just do it. Or, you know, they become completely reliant. Like, you still need to do your market research. You need to do your own investigating of your competitors and all of that. Like, yeah, AI can do it for you, but it's better for you to do that yourself so that you have that knowledge. Because if AI is not here tomorrow, what are we supposed to do?
I mean, are we complaining about Tesla's self-driving vehicles or are we not?
Right. The whole premise behind that is a safety regulation of just follow the road. And we're already having issues with that.
Already.
But I think it takes away the humanity of it, though. I think it depends on your business, right? Because you, like in school, you could tell who copied and pasted. So I think even when you get in front of that person and you like, some don't seem right, you know,
or you about this.
or you always got your note cards, you know, and stuff like that. This is not something that you're passionate about. So I think AI, it will never give you that, you know. So
can't be interpersonal. That interpersonal connection that you develop, especially when you're serving humans as a human, and that's your basis and your premise. That's what they're going to be looking for. Like we had AI, I won't even say AI, but computer answering phone lines has been around for over a decade already. And everybody just zeroes out and is like, let me talk to a person. Let me talk to a person. So like, I do feel like that, you know, it's getting smarter, but at the same time, even if it could do the job, do you want it to? That becomes, right.
Let's expand on that too, right? So let's say we get to the point in our society where an android could watch your children.
No.
Would you let it? It's very. Let's just say like the robot was very neutral. Like it will like do prompts to you, like, hey, said child is breaking vases and they're angry. Right. How would you like me to proceed?
I mean, you won't have to deal with an angry thing because it will never get angry. But at the same time, it's like. Like no.
Into the pen you go and lock the door. You know, like y'all wouldn't do that?
No.
I personally could say no still because regardless of what you teach it, again, there's that interpersonal and having antisocial children in COVID, when they were in the house with their family and seeing how they came out, having Robo Nanny? Oh, I don't want to deal with that kid.
no.
I do not want to deal with that kid. I don't.
What if Robo Nanny had your personality?
No.
That's even scarier. No, stay away
But
from
I
it.
did see that where they're trying to make it where it can carry a kid.
Yeah. I saw that too.
And it's
Like
like
a surrogate type thing,
Yeah.
a tube baby type
Whoa.
thing. Yeah.
Whoa.
Like, no, it's going too far. It's just going
But
too
like,
far.
I mean, that's
little
like,
bit
how is
much.
that
It's
any
like the Tower
different?
of Babel. Like, we...
Yeah,
like, we
Tower
need
of
to
Babel,
stop.
yo.
But how is
Give me-
that any different than an incubator?
It's very different.
How? Because like if a baby was born like 3 months before it should, you got to throw it down there.
It's a emotional, just soul connection.
Listen, I just want to purpose it this was saying like I do not disagree. He's like,
don't judge me when you get out of here and be like,
I'm
hey,
only
that guy.
pushing a little bit because I feel like some of this technology is interesting nonetheless. Like there are some people that would love to have children. They have the parts to do it, but their body literally
I get
attacks
that
the fetus,
part.
and it's like,
Yeah.
so this would be unless you want to be a
alternative.
surrogate or
Right,
something,
right.
but
Yeah.
this would be an option for some people. I mean, I don't see
do
it being
get that
any
part.
cheaper at all.
Oh no!
This is gonna be pretty
probably even a
expensive.
little bit more tax, you
Yeah.
know, thrown on top of
Yeah,
there.
if I had
Yeah.
to go a different route, I would choose a human
Yeah.
being surrogate.
But then also they've explained that, you know, especially in the third trimester, like the child starts to even pick up the sound
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
of the voice
yeah.
and identify the mother from within. Like, again, I just don't want to deal with what kid would come out of that.
Just stick to the little robot womb. Just 24/7 have it play a recorder inside, you know, so it knows who you is.
Man,
That's crazy.
So I got a question, if you don't mind. So I'm gonna jump in here. When it comes to other entrepreneurs and their businesses, do you feel like you can only collaborate with specific people because of what their business is? Because of like, you know, it's just so left field. Like this person wants to do a paper company and you're like, I'm Mommy and Co. What are we gonna do with paper? Like origami? Like, do you ever feel like you would love to create a network connection, but like you just can't see it for the future? Do you feel like your business that you chose like limits the connections you can make? Like that's essentially what I'm asking here.
Not for me, no, because I will always find a reason on why we should collab.
She's like, I want you. I'm gonna find a way.
Because I feel like
We'll
that's
come and
the,
we'll stock your shelves.
the movement behind us, like for Mommy Co. So a lot of my collabing be bringing the movement to whatever that service is. So if it's like a paper company, as you said, it will be more of like, how can we bring more awareness to both of them? Because people are always like, oh, I want to service your moms. Oh, bring your moms out. Oh, how can we, you know, like collab in regards to awareness? So I think that's the piece that Mommy Co have. We have the movement. We have the humans that all these corporations want, right, to come out. So I think collabing will always be an option for us. As women we spend the most money in the economy.
Right.
You know, we do the most shopping.
Yeah.
We're always on the internet, you know, and stuff like that. So I think we are the biggest consumer.
Yep. The lifeblood of every trend.
Yeah, no matter what you're doing, you're
Yeah.
always gonna want a woman, you know, a part of your org. So I don't really have any.
I feel like you using paper as a company was a crappy one. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I was a
was
kid
like-
and you said a paper company was coming in, I'm taking all that paper. I'm making airplanes, origami. I'm writing notes. Come on, man.
But then it could have been like the paper, like, oh, we want to supply your mom's kids with safe paper.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You
right.
know, so I think we will-
academic stuff,
Or art
notebooks,
supplies.
art supplies, crafts and
or
crafts.
making
See,
sure.
look at your
Business
creative
cards.
voices.
You know,
Right?
like,
Look at your creative
what
voices
kind of stuff you
rolling.
printing with that paper? You feel me? Like,
Flyers, marketing, yeah.
See, limitless potential.
We
here,
gonna
right?
man.
find a way. We gonna find a
You
way.
know,
That's one thing. We is gonna find a way.
Right. So I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
But I
about
get what
you?
you're saying.
For me personally, I want to say that there are limits, and that's just because I'm a nonprofit, right? So working with for-profits, they're for-profits. They want money. They don't have the same. I don't want to say the same heart, but they don't have the same mission as I do. Right. They're in it to make money. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I genuinely want to help these moms. And be a support. So there are certain people that I'm like, I can't do business with you because you want to charge my moms $100 and I'm literally trying to reduce
their expenses.
But you can write me off on your taxes though.
You know, so there are certain people that I've come across where I'm like, I could probably, you know, direct people to you, use you as like a referral, you know, in
for
the back
whatever
of my mind.
they're looking for.
Yeah, but to collaborate, it wouldn't be beneficial to them or me because our missions just don't align.
Right. And this doesn't mean they're a bad person, but it's like, it's definitely a different energy when you're just like, I'm doing something to help because I literally get nothing out of it. And I'm doing something, it can help you, but I do want to be a millionaire in about like 5 more years,
be
right? So like, you know, there's definitely like that bias naturally, right? As humans, it's gonna, you know, pop up. Right?
I will say like the last 5 years of my experience with a nonprofit, it was, I think the statement, you can't eat at everybody's house. Not everybody's invited to my house is definitely a very true statement because like you said, some people's hearts are where you are. It's true. Not aligned with your mission statement. And there was definitely a time where we lost our way because, you know, we were chasing the bag. We're like, hey, we got to get this money. And I mean, again, we were more community based. We were really trying to bunker down and stay in like the Frogtown area and do a lot. And we were out here literally renting cars going out to like Egan, like cake eaters territory, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but you get the point, like we were out here chasing it and it can get lost real hard, especially with some nonprofits because you're like, okay, I kind of need this money and I can use that money somewhere else. And then you lost yourself because it's like, well, now you're always trying to use that money somewhere else and taking this and trying to collab with that. And it can be hard. And have you ever had a company where you were like really stretching it? Like you were like, I want to make this work because I need it. Or maybe I want to get this grant. And you're like, you had to step back and be like, I can't. This is difficult. Like you ever had that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Where it just doesn't align, or it's how do I say? It's just so it doesn't benefit us anymore. It's not beneficial. It's not beneficial to them, or it's so far fetched from what we're trying to do. All the time, they want us to do things for guys. What about the fathers? What about the fathers? And I'm like, I'm not a man. I can't tell you about a single dad's experience, right? So a lot of people will want to give money towards different things, but it's their agenda. And I'm
their
like,
personal.
it's their personal agenda, but it's like, I understand how I can try to loop Thrive into that, but that's not where I don't want Thrive to be represented in that light.
Right.
So you do have to cut ties sometimes, even if it is financially motivational. But I think so many nonprofits lose sight of their mission as they grow because of that. And
trying to appease different parties, kind of.
Once you reach a certain level in the nonprofit sector, like in turnover with executive directors, like it's less personable. It's less, it's, you know, so yeah, there's been times.
I will say this, you know, at some point with a nonprofit, when you got to start getting a union involved in your nonprofit, I think you already lost. That's where we got, where it was like our mission down here with the rest of us folk is not aligning with the board of directors whatsoever, and you would think,
right.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I want to add something to that because a lot of nonprofits too overexhaust, you know, trying to serve the community. And I think that people that come in and get services from a nonprofit don't understand the culture of like, you lend a hand as well. That's the only way we can keep this going.
Right.
A lot of them are just like here to receive. And I think even just the culture around nonprofits, it had a lot of families have been traumatized, you know, with the phase of a nonprofit. So I think we just have to rebuild the culture around nonprofit because a lot of people steer away from it, you know, because it's like, are you using me for a number, or you're getting all this money and I'm only able to get access to this. So I think that's where the culture of the board, you know, too, and making sure like, does it align often?
Right.
Are we on the same page?
Because and to go further off that point, you do get to a point where it's like, if you are bleeding heart nonprofit, you're giving everything you can, and then you hit E, and then it's like, dang, we got to close down. Or you do get up, and then it's like you said, you lose sight of your way. You know, like y'all are a multi-darn billion-dollar nonprofit, and you're like, cool, I can help you with $200. Like, the one that's shutting down gave me $500 per week. till the month was up. Like, you know, it's like they have gotten burned. They have gotten traumatized, especially if it's something you need. That makes it even worse.
Exactly.
It's like, you got your kids. I need rent. It's like, we could probably get by on auntie's cooking for the next month, but I need rent. Like, you know, especially Minnesota is not a comfortable place to sleep in the cold, right?
No. At all.
So, yeah, definitely.
And I think a lot of families have got over on that. You know, like they know
the
system.
People know how to work the
right?
system
They
too.
know the system. So it's like, well, can we get room for somebody else? Like, can somebody else?
Like, who needs it?
Yeah,
right? Isn't
a
that
little
always
bit.
the conversation? Who needs it?
But it's hard
You
to
know?
define who really needs it, right? Because a need don't always have a look.
Everybody has a sob story.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
literally.
Right.
So,
I mean, the system, I would hope one day the system's designed to help push you off of it and gives you the tools where you
Correct.
literally, like, by the
Yes.
time you get kicked out the door, it's like, we literally gave you a degree or we literally gave you access
to all of
stuff.
these resources.
It
that
shouldn't
you
be a
know.
lifetime.
Yeah, it's
thing.
not a lifetime goal.
Right.
It shouldn't be,
We should
you know.
move on from it. I agree
But
with that.
you know, but that's such a deep conversation.
There's
There's so many different like reasons why some people make it a lifetime, and it's a generational thing too. And
I
Yeah.
think
There's
it's
a lot
really
that
big
plays into it.
generation.
Perception, societal norms play a key part of that.
Yeah.
You know, what's acceptable, what's not. I think what surprised me was the shock of how much like the government is like not involved in the nonprofits. Like they advertise.
Oh my god!
Like they're like, yeah, we gave this state $300 million, and all the nonprofits are like,
where?
Where?
The people that are getting that money are the
those
same.
big
It's the same
nonprofits
nonprofits
that are like-
getting the money. They just keep donating to the same one. So it's like, okay, you know, this is.
I got a question too. So, how do you two feel about governments having task force auditing anywhere money is going? So, like, if a nonprofit received, let's say your nonprofit received $1 million, and in your budget report you said that you collabed with her,
Mommy-co, mhm.
Mommy-co. I didn't want to. I knew
No,
it was
that's
Mommy.
okay.
You collabed with Mommy-co, and then now I have to audit Mommy-co. Where'd that money
they're
go?
starting to, 'cause
How
they're
would you
going
feel
down the
about
trail
that?
By
now.
association.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, the association trail. Yeah,
That's
they're doing that
interesting.
now.
No, I didn't know that they were doing that. One, because I've been kind of trying to stay away from the government grants for that exact reason. Like the
Because they do.
reporting, the grant reporting is so detailed.
Come on, AI. Come on, you say AI.
It's so detailed. But yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. I mean, if you're doing things legitimately, it's nothing to fear. You know,
Right.
Ultimately, keep your books straight.
Clean,
You'll be all right.
right? Make your receipt for your
Allocate your
purchases.
money to what
Right.
you're supposed to be allocating it to. It won't be a problem. Come and investigate. There's nothing that you're going to see.
But as a private company, how
It's
would you
invasive.
feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the same. Like, long as your books is correct, then you shouldn't have no problems with showing proof.
Right. We do know that, like, you know, this is in part two, because when those PPP loans came out, and people all of a sudden were the number one entrepreneur in their city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Number
when that
one with the PS5.
Seriously.
like, this is for the services we provide.
Like,
you
I
know?
need this to talk business on PlayStation Network. You feel me?
No,
You know,
right.
when you get to that point, you know, I do understand in like trying to keep it out of like, we need to know where this is going to make sure y'all are doing your job. But then the government, every time, you know, they kind of get into something, it's always more problems sometimes.
I think
that
it's the
seem to arise.
limits, you know, like what's
Yeah.
justified for them is what makes it hard, because we on the ground. We are literally like on the ground level. We know what these families need. So you probably could say, oh, spend the money on baby supplies, but I might buy the baby a coat. And then you're like, oh, that's not a necessity. And it's like,
But
well,
it is.
But it
you know,
is,
so
right?
it's like that would be my only problem, and I think that's the struggle that I have with nonprofits is that you say take care of this family in the best way that they need, but you limit them. Right. You limit and say
That's not
you only get
important.
these kind of diapers, or you only
Yeah.
get this kind
This
of
kind
milk,
of formula.
you
yeah.
know, and stuff like that. And it's like, well, are you really here to help, or are you here to control?
Right.
Right.
Now
You
I
know,
gotta
the
get a
system.
doctor's note to justify
Exactly.
why I need this.
So
and-
Yeah.
I think the limits is what kind of
And
gets
don't you like how sometimes they like try to like downgrade you? Just like, oh, you can't get the quality
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
it's always
because the
exactly.
quality stuff costs more. Like
Yeah.
it's like the median range to barely get quality stuff. So then it's like, okay, cool. This typically costs $40, you're trying to get me to get the $10 version, but the $25 version is the bare minimum of what I need. Well, no, what we cover is, and it's like, oh, okay. So
It's
then when
still a
this mess
control
ups and
factor.
this
It's
still,
control.
this is not going to help me
Down to the
quality-wise.
diet,
But that's
certain cereals.
But I mean, that's literally like what the government wants is the control. I mean, it sounds like a lot of people are like, oh, it's conspiracy. Like, no, I mean, think about all the
they've
public
kinda
programs that
admitted
people
it.
are on,
They,
and they're like,
they pretty much amended it.
like, oh, if you work more than 30 hours, we're gonna literally have to cut. You're gonna have to pay more in your your assistant program for rent. Well, maybe I got overtime. Maybe I need that money because my child's
Exactly.
birthday's coming up. Like,
what
you're
if
really
it's a job now where it's like on-demand mandatory overtime? It's like I can't even say no to protect myself. Like I'm forced into it because it's busy season.
Right.
Y'all done said I clocked it for 50 hours, and then now I dropped down to 16 hours for about 2 more months because we're out of it. Like, like
it's
that
wild.
is wild.
Penalized for that.
So-
Yeah, you get penalized for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you ever had tried to collab with companies like that though? Like let's say if you like a family said, hey, I need, I don't know, a jacket. You ever like go to Walmart and go like, hey, can you guys sponsor me? Like I'm willing to allocate $1,000 or something. Is there any way you guys can work with me?
No, but you just gave me an idea.
Right, and whatever else, right? Because technically, I do like that about being an entrepreneur. You can technically ask anything.
Yeah.
Like your brain is literally your limitation, but also that's the consequence, right? Because don't bite off more than you can chew.
That's true. But I think that's what makes it hard because if it's an emergency, they need it right now. And then corporations, they want to, it takes 30 days or
Send you to corporate.
we got to go to these different, and it's like we have somebody that's literally standing outside right now, like needs a coat. So I think even for both of us, a lot of it comes from what we have,
Yeah.
and
Like what you have right now.
we gonna make
answer
it
that.
work, or try to connect the resource
Connect the resources.
because community is who you know.
Yeah.
Right.
They try to say, "Oh, it's not politics." It is.
It is. Connections.
It is.
Connections, right? Like maybe you got a person who's like, oh, I got a little like mini Burlington. I got a coat rack, a closet system. I got outfits for this type of stuff, and it's like, that's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
So.
But you could have came in here a little rude, and now she like, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell him that."
Nah.
So you
Can't
gotta deal with
help
that too. Yeah,
right.
So you gotta
Like the
deal with that.
energy was
Exactly.
just off. Like,
And you like, girl, get him the coat resource.
please.
He need a coat.
Please.
That's why he's mad.
Right.
Exactly.
It is fascinating because I did talk to one guy a couple years ago, and he talked about literally walking into companies, just random companies, like, hey, what do you guys do? Is there any way I can keep a business card if I wanted to contact and reach out, connect, if something ever comes up, like, because with him, he's just like, I just want to network. Like people pay me to ask, like, do you know somebody who does this? And of course you can Google, but sometimes
But even
Google's not
then-
going to give you the best resource to find that. It's not like that old Dex is what those little things are
Yeah.
called. You just scroll around looking for people. He's like, no, that's literally what my business was. That's all he did was just knock on doors. Oh, he goes all the way around the tri-state area, and he just
What do you do? What's your skill?
if you said, hey, do you know anybody or any company that does, I don't know, fabrication with specific parts that's hopefully within this region, and he would be like, hold on, he'll type into his little Dex
Steel
or whatever.
manufacturing company over here.
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh, you talking about Shoreview? Yeah, there's a couple. I know a couple. I can see if they're available if you want. I can't promise you any deals, but
Right.
I know the name of that. I'm trying to figure out because I did it while looking at my stuff. Talent acquisition.
Yeah.
Yep.
wow.
Yep. Talent acquisition. It's been overly used in the staffing agency
Yeah.
market right now. So it's talent acquisition, but for people who actually have businesses, business to business talent acquisition, right? That's when them contracts, and those contracts can be big. They'd be like, yeah, we need you for about $1 million worth of steel. And it's like, boom, they're happy to cut you a commission off of that.
because you just sent them business.
Right, you just sent them business. They don't have to cut the lights off for another 2 years. You're good.
It is interesting. I mean, do you feel like you guys want to like do boots on the ground, or is it all just word of mouth for both of you guys? Are you gonna go door to door, door to door?
I think it's a little bit of both. I do a lot of networking,
lot
which
of
can be
events.
it can be really draining too.
I said when you turn 30, it's just event after event.
After event, it's like, oh my God, I got this other event I got to go to. But you never know who you're going to meet at these events.
A new sponsor,
Right.
a group of people that need your services.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going door to door per se, but, just putting myself out there more than anything.
That's the biggest.
Can I want to throw a theoretical at you guys, to see how y'all would take it. At y'all ladies, to see how y'all would take it. Would you like for the government to have, if people were, able to fill out like a legal binding document that says yes, like if the government paid y'all per person to petition for your services, like they join Mommy Co, they join Thrive, and they're like, I need this much from them to help me, right? And they just made their own application. They submitted their eviction notice, lease, car note, whatever. And it's all audible because they can look it up through Social Security means, right? So like, it's not hard on y'all, but like if the government was like, all right, you got 2,500 people and you need this amount of money, we won't guarantee all of it, but we'll cut you some and send that to you to actually be a substitute for giving it to these $300 million nonprofits that are just sitting there guzzling it, because as me and you have talked about, I've seen them like turn around and they ask y'all for help like they ain't got money.
Which is my biggest pet peeve.
Like,
the county's
I didn't even
asking
think that
me
was
for
legal.
financial assistance. It's like, you're the county. How
You're
are
the
you
county.
guys referring people to me?
Like that's the audacity is crazy.
Like
so would
the
y'all
social
like
workers.
that?
It's
So would
insane.
y'all like that if like it's like you're able to prove it because you're like this person's putting their social security number and their information and their documents, filing it, to say help me. Would y'all like that rather as a response to be like, hey, you've got your stuff in here, it's in your name, it's your business. These are the people that filled out the documents and was like, you want us to help y'all, you gotta let us know how serious the help is and let us know so we can go and get your assistance, right?
Right.
Would y'all prefer something like that, or do y'all like the way that it is just as it is now?
I'd be able to reach a lot more people if that were the way that it was set up. I wouldn't be opposed to that because my whole mission is to help
To
people,
help, right,
as many
right,
people
to
as I
be
can.
the
So
caveat for
if I
that.
was able to do that in such a way, why not? That'd be cool.
And
I
Mommy
would do it
Co,
too.
you're for
Yeah.
profit, right? So like it'd probably be a different, there'd be different technicalities, obviously, but would you also be like, hey, join the membership, but let us know what we can help you with type thing?
Yeah, I'll be open to that. Loans, it's not the fine print.
Yeah, like
And-
we get a portion of your profits, or we get to, tell you where to put the money. Like, of course, obviously you're gonna give it to them, but it's but we don't like the fact that you hosted like a fashion gala for the women. Like, this helped their confidence. Forget you,
Exactly.
right?
And sometimes too, like the government, you got to make sure that align with your own personal, mission and values, because there's some work out here and you like, it just don't align with me, myself. I wouldn't want to put no mom in a predicament that I wouldn't really want to do myself.
Right.
So I think if it feels good to my heart and really feels good that I'm doing what I am called to do, then I'm always open to it.
Right.
I don't know, man. You asking a lot of questions about this government.
No, because we're in a society now. Everybody's like, "Ooh, let me be an entrepreneur." They're getting on Instagram. They're getting inspired, and it's like, nah. Like they do say you don't profit from your business, like
Absolutely.
for like 10 years. Truthfully,
Yeah.
like 5 years you might see some, but you're not really there till 10. To stick with a dream for 10 years, some of y'all can't stick in a relationship for 10 years.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think you gotta really know the grind though. That it's not
It's
just
not overnight.
because I'm you gotta have more than motivation, because motivation
real.
is not an everyday thing. So it's like, is this something like you are inspired and like
Do you really
your
wanna
heart
do
would
this?
not let you sleep? Cause a hobby, I can be motivated about a hobby today, and then 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh well, whatever.
Done with
Right.
it.
When
I'm
your
done
bill,
doing
when
that.
your bill not paid, you
Yeah.
hungry. It's like my
It's
motivation ain't
different,
high,
yeah.
right?
And I think when you inspired, you would even go find work that aligns with it.
Yeah.
Because it's not about just being an entrepreneur. Because you can work for somebody and feel like you're an entrepreneur. Right?
true.
They just cutting you a check.
Right.
And that's
You
a
got
little
the
bit more
freedom and
reliable,
flexibility, right.
So I think people just don't get caught up in the term, but get caught up in the work. Like you gotta be really ready to work to become an entrepreneur. It's not just, let me go file that LLC.
No.
Right.
What are you
Right.
gonna do when there's no sales, no
And it's dry
inquiries?
season. In
You
Minnesota,
know,
dry
like-
season is that winter season, and that winter season lasts.
Yeah, when you're not trending, what are you gonna do then? Like, so I think it's so overhyped.
Yeah. You just have to be resilient.
Yeah.
You have to keep posting, even when you ain't getting no likes. You gotta just you gotta be in love with the process of it. You can't just be like, so many people want the success. They want to be at the finale, but not having to go through all of the obstacles that you have to go through to get there. You know, we see the glitz and glam on social media, but nobody's telling you the day in and day out, the frustrations that they're facing, the challenges that they're going through. So just being resilient and having that grit to keep going when those challenges come.
Right. I think those are amazing answers because that paints a picture. You know, there's young people now that are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And it's like, okay. But don't give up on school or a good job or a career or a trade yet. You know, how about you use those? A lot of people don't know. Use your finances to create the foundation. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that'll tell you, keep your job.
Right.
Yeah.
Just do your job and then also get off and study and learn. And you know,
make sure you got
entrepreneur
credit in that, you know, whatever that industry is. Make sure you got credit. Don't just be like, oh, I work at Starbucks and now I want to start a daycare.
No.
You know, like make sure you know
do
the
childcare, learn it.
Go run it for somebody else first and then do it for yourself. Like, it's not that serious to rush to entrepreneurship.
No.
Yeah. Found a couple questions here.
Yeah.
I think
let's get to
I am curious. You talked about doing research in the industry for your business. I am curious, like, what is something some of your competitors are doing that you're like, I should probably start implementing that?
like learning from the masses.
Fundraising.
That makes sense.
They're fundraising techniques. I've attended some, and I'm like, okay, how are they doing this? You know, what are they doing that I haven't done? What's working for them, especially if they have years in the game, right? So I think that's the number one thing insofar as like services that they're providing. Nah, I think I'm in my own niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
you just want to get like the benefit of like what could help you, right?
Yeah.
I think as a social club in Minnesota is very, very unique.
Yeah.
For my industry. And in regards to what other, like just with my research, to be privately owned is, you're talking about like golf clubs, and you're talking about, it's more of a rich people
yeah, socialite type thing.
Yeah, it's more of a rich people social thing. So, or you're dealing with like bars and different stuff like when it comes to clubs. So what I'm doing is very unique, very unique niche. So I'm compared to like nonprofits because I'm a for-profit with nonprofit mission and values.
Right.
So a lot of my comparisons is like nonprofits or ran by the county, and stuff like that. So I'm really kind of paving the way.
Right.
In this
industry. Kind of in it on your own
a little bit. So very new to it. Very new to it.
But I mean, I can't lie. That has its plus and minuses, right? Because it's like, ooh, you know, who gonna come in here and say that, you know, they did it for me? Definitely a way maker. But then that's the hard work, is paving that trail, right?
Because you don't have the guidance,
right? You haven't seen no one else do it.
It's trial and error, for real. Like you don't get to learn from someone else's mistakes.
Exactly.
You have to learn and make them yourself.
Right.
And I think with Mommy Co, we have a couple different aspects to it. So like they'd be like, oh, you have the clothing, so you align with like a clothing brand, or oh, you have, you know, the social piece, and it's like, oh, you align with a nonprofit, and then you have the virtual. Everyone's like virtual, you know, workshop. So it's very new.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to wrap up here. I got two last questions for y'all. We're going to start with the more open-ended one. What can we see from y'all in the future? What's Thrive up to? What's Mommy Co up to? We've got like a whole nother season coming up. It's the Burr season. What should we be looking out for?
Yeah. Okay, so I guess our next event, we're gonna do like a Friendsgiving with the moms and the kiddos. And do
Is Chocolate
activities.
Espresso invited?
You know, you guys can come through.
I mean, I'm not a single mom, so I like how
that's gonna be like a photography person. But so we have that coming up for November. I believe it's at the 16th. And then we have our vision board party coming up.
Ooh.
I have a brunch, Empowerment from Within, coming up November 2nd. So a lot of emotional regulation practices and things of that nature. So it'll be a fun.
That seems fun.
With a lot of different guest speakers, yoga.
Yeah.
All sorts of
Nice.
stuff. It's gonna be
That sounds kind of fun. That sounds
Like, it's
fun.
just
That
like
sounds fun.
Self-care day.
Nice.
I love that.
So yeah, and then we'll have our vision board party coming up in January to start the year.
Nice.
Setting goals.
Yeah.
Setting goals.
Yeah, I will say that is our next 2 upcoming. Mamiko is actually working on a chapter 2 with the police department. So bringing self-love and self-care to our police departments and bridging that gap with the community. So we did chapter 1, so we're working on chapter 2 right now, and really just pushing collabs right now.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Collaborations, community building, self-care. Always big personal fan of that. And then I love that. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about those things. So as y'all already know, y'all now family. Y'all done been here with us. But before we let y'all go and roll up out of here, we would like to know y'all social media. How can everybody watching tune into y'all and what's y'all got going on?
Thrive Resource Hub on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So like and follow. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we are on Instagram and Facebook. It is the Mamiko Club. We are also heavy on TikTok, and it's Mamiko World.
Mamiko World. Nice. So y'all heard it. Go check it out. This Chocolate Espresso podcast. Any last remarks, Noir?
Nah, man, you hit it off.
Good. Thank you for checking us out. Go and check these beautiful women. Check out their entrepreneurial journeys. Keep track, and y'all let us know. How do y'all feel? It's been great. King Des is out. This has been Chocolate Espresso. Good night.
Peace.